All right, welcome everyone to the Retire Well podcast. We are your hosts, Alicia Kay, Julie Lampe, and Patricia Kaloka-Massat. We're offering a fresh and comprehensive perspective, helping you see retirement through a new lens. We're three female entrepreneurs from Central Florida who are passionate about serving the pre-retirement, post-career adult. We ask for your compassion as we navigate this new and exciting podcast world. It won't be perfect, but we'll be authentic and our real selves, and we're excited to connect with all of you. So I'd like to start with introducing myself, and then my co-host will take it away after that. My name's Alicia Kay. I'm a professional organizer, and my company is Try Organizing. I help people navigate life transitions, and there's some really unique life transitions that the pre-retirement, post-career adult faces. The most common is downsizing, but there's happy downsizes and not so happy downsizes, like downsizing into hospice or long-term care. And I've helped with all of that. There could be a new diagnosis, cognitive or physical. There could be a divorce. We're going to be definitely discussing gray divorce in a podcast down the road, or even death of a spouse. These types of life transitions result in clutter. And clutter is just essentially delayed decisions. And it's a real honor for me as an organizer to help set up systems to support independent living for as long as possible, but also to help remove the clutter and combat future clutter so that those items that are most cherished and beloved are really honored, because at that juncture in your life, you've got some pretty amazing memories behind you and hopefully can carve out some more. So I look forward to getting to know all of you better, our listeners, and you'll have an opportunity over the next 3 episodes to get to know each of us a little better. But I'll let my co-hosts take it away.
Julie Lampe, and I am an interior designer in the Orlando area. My business is Paradigm Interiors, and I specialize in helping pre-retirement adults and couples create comfortable and functional spaces in their home without sacrificing an ounce of style or luxury. So what does that mean? It means that I like to get clients who want to create something really beautiful that they can retire in and live throughout their retirement years. But I also, while I'm creating that, beautiful, timeless, sophisticated space, I like to think about how that's going to function and work for you as the homeowner throughout your retirement years, and to make sure that you can stay there in that home for as long as you want to, creating memories with your friends and your family.
I'm Patty. I know my name is super long, Patricia Kaloka-Massat, so I just tell people, call me Patty. I'm very passionate about helping the boomer generation as well as people with disabilities. So I am the co-founder of a company called Kaloka Motion Financial and Wellness. We're a family business, and we have combined, oh my goodness, we've combined years of experience. My partner is my mom. She's also a Medicare beneficiary, and she has lots of experience in organizational psychology. My background in exercise physiology. We got our heads together in health insurance advising for the pre-retirees and the post-retirees. One of the biggest things in how we have built our business is basically we don't work for the government. We don't work for the insurance carriers. We partner with our clients. So our main focus is to really get to know our clients, understand where they're coming from, emotionally, physically, mentally, in so many ways, so we can really listen and understand how we can connect the dots when it comes to their health care. So we're not only looking at covering them financially through that insurance platform, but we really want to make sure that they don't rely on insurance as a false sense of health. So we do a lot of prevention, we do a lot of coaching for our clients. We're completely independent, so that really puts us in a perfect setup to really be able to focus on them. We don't charge any money directly to our clients. In fact, once we find them a plan, the companies would actually pay us for bringing them on board with that particular health plan. Health plans change all the time, so that's why we stay in touch, because we want to make sure that we are making those adjustments with you. So we actually partner. We're your partners in your health care. So that being said, we want to kind of get into how we met, right? These two other girls, you, Julie, and Alicia, you always call me like the connector, right? So that's actually an honor. Yeah, how did we meet? So I met Julie a few years back at a local community networking group. It was like on Friday mornings, we were sharing breakfast and just really sharing our passion, right? For what each one of us is doing as entrepreneurs. And it wasn't until Julie came over to my house and she basically took me through the process of what it takes to design a home and all that. And I was just so impressed with her knowledge. Her healthcare background was like ding, 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 that ring, because that's when we immediately connected and said, oh, I'm going to be working with her in the future. I know we're going to basically be able to partner to help more and more people. So when you mentioned aging in place, experience as a nurse, I was like, oh my goodness. So I've used my experience in healthcare and exercise physiology to be able to help my clients. So I just thought it was very unique coming from a designer. Then I guess it was like, 3 or 4 months, actually right before COVID-19, I had the honor and the pleasure to hear this little voice in this big room, right, of almost 100 and something people, when we only had, it's also another networking group here locally here in Central Florida, and we all had like 10 seconds to speak. Alicia across the room, she says, and I love working with seniors. I'm a professional organizer, and that's what drew me straight to her. I immediately gave her my business card and I said, you have to meet my friend Julie. You guys are going to hit it off and are going to do great things together. Well, COVID-19 hit, and here we are looking for ways, right? How we're going to partner together, because we're all swimming in the same pool, servicing all our clients. So yeah, that's just the tip of the iceberg. You guys are all going to get to know each other more. So that's pretty much how we met.
Yeah. Yeah, so and Alicia and I totally forgot to mention that I was a registered nurse. I'm actually an advanced practice nurse, and I have a master's degree in nursing. Completely forgot to mention that. So I really, that
So
was
humble.
how I kind of tied in all those years of education and practice into my interior design business. Was when I was in school, one of my professors actually recommended that I look at doing age in place design or universal design, or whatever the term du jour is. But and I had been thinking for a while. I do videos on Facebook, and I'd been right when COVID hit, I was thinking, I really should do something that will be just something for my clients, or the people who are following me on social media or on my email list or whatever. And Patty and I had been talking probably for, I don't know, about 6 months or so. We've been talking about doing some type of live event where we would bring people together who worked with the pre-retirement, immediate post-retirement age group, and in the community. And I had been doing some community education at the library here in Winter Park. And when COVID hit, it was kind of like, well, can't do that now. But what could we do? So we started talking about maybe just doing an online summit. And then once we started talking about doing the summit and started doing some planning, we realized we needed more information about what people needed, and B, we realized that there were so many topics once we started getting into that, like what do people really need, what's the information that seems to be missing out there, that we said, well, why don't we do a podcast, or now it's turned into a webcast, a video series on YouTube, but and hopefully eventually on a podcasting platform as well. And I thought, well, naturally I'm going to talk to Patty and Alicia and get them involved with this. And that's how it evolved from a live in-person summit in our community to a webcast that we can now reach many people, not just in the US, but, really beyond, because these seem to be universal things that people who are preparing retirement are thinking about, or people who are immediate post-retirement are thinking about.
Absolutely. And it was so interesting when we did our little qualitative research study and interviewed some of our clients and some of our very kind family members and friends to just find out what people are thinking about as they approach retirement. And then once they're in retirement, what were the things that, they wished someone had told them? And I think we all found that so fascinating. And I think as you get to know us, you'll find out why each of us are passionate about working and serving with this population. But we have our client experiences to share with you all, but and our own personal experience. We're all personally very connected to this, but the research was really fascinating and really interesting. And there were unexpected stressors in retirement that people were just not ready for. And those are some of the topics that we want to discuss. I know for me personally, I was really, what struck me was how it was a stressor for people to have 24/7 time with their spouse. I think most people think about that in retirement, think, yes, it's going to be so lovely to have all this time with my partner. And in fact, it was reported as a stressor. So it was really interesting. And, there were some heartbreaking ones too, like loss of a spouse, and really kind of wrapping your head around that. And it's not a fun conversation to have or to be prepared for that emotionally, financially, but it's an important conversation to have. How about you ladies? What did you find fascinating about it?
Well, for me, I'll tell you this. So I always knew that healthcare was going to come up as one of those pivotal things. It's something they hear ever since they're actually working for an employer. And usually what our clients share is that when they're working at a company, they always hear about open enrollment. They fill out, they check the boxes. They really have not in-depth knowledge about the dynamics of their coverage, even though they have a summary of benefits and all that. And what I was able to see through all those discussions and analyzing all those findings is that, yes, they're worried about it. Yes, they know they need to do something about it, but they felt overwhelmed about not having enough knowledge and having a starting point. Because now as they retire and leave an employer, they're pretty much on their own. They got to do until they meet me, of course. They got to do this whole research. They
the
go
Medicare
crazy.
Wizard.
Yeah, well, they go online. They start asking their neighbors, and they don't start within. And that's what I teach them. Well, before you start asking your friend, before you start asking your neighbor, let's learn about you. So I kind of recenter them. But anyway, I'll tell you more about that later. But yeah, that was my biggest finding, that they knew it was important. They knew that could really hurt them financially. All the hardworking money, it could go away if they didn't have proper coverage, but there was no starting point. I think that was my biggest takeaway.
Yeah, I think, I was surprised, not surprised at how many people in both groups really hadn't thought about how their home would impact their retirement. And, that's been my motivator with working with pre-retirement couples planning to remodel their homes, is that they put a lot of money, tens of thousands of dollars, into these remodeling projects, and they make it really nice, but it may be something that doesn't work for them, or they're remodeling a home that 10 years 15 years down the road isn't going to be an appropriate home for them to live in, because they don't have a bedroom and a full bath downstairs, which is really a necessity. I think one of the other things that I really that really resonated with me, and I think completely unrelated to my business, and I'm excited to talk about on the podcast, is the sandwich generation. And you've got people in their 50s and 60s who have parents in their 80s and 90s that they're helping to take care of, or maybe they're not yet helping to take care of, but then that time comes that they need to. And caregiver burnout, which is a nurse, was something that, you know, we saw all the time with our patients that had chronic illnesses. And it's not just for parents. Like, you don't get caregiver burnout just for your parents. You can get it for a spouse that's ailing as well. Yeah. Especially when there's, you know, dementia or a severe physical impairment that happens, especially when you've done all these years of dreaming and planning. I mean, I know my 45th birthday's next week. So my husband and I are talking about retirement, like what our retirement is going to look like. We're already like dreaming of the house that we're going to build and the things we're going to do at 45 and 47. And, you know, I think that when a spouse, you know, suddenly has a chronic illness, and those plans start to change immediately, and you can't do, or if your spouse has a terminal illness, that's another thing too. Your plans change. So I think I'm really looking forward to, in a nursey kind of way, exploring some of those concepts of, you know, caregiver burnout and when plans change and when you have an ailing spouse and things like that. So those were some things that were interesting to me that were completely outside of what I do in my business.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we've all kind of like hit on some, I think, nuggets that our listeners can expect to hear more about. And I think the biggest reason why we decided to go into this podcast, not only because we wanted to share all this amazing information that we've collected both from our personal experience and our client experience, and also realizing there was a gap in the podcast universe about this topic. Yes. There was just nothing there that really covered the topics that we want to make sure people know about this. I'm glad I have this knowledge now, and I know I'm going to learn a ton from our experts, guests that we have come on, and that is our goal, to be able to prevent a crisis, to create independent living, to make people live happier and healthier. Just created a new word. You know, retirement. And, you know, so that's really our passion. And that's our goal with this podcast, is to be able to fill that gap. So we're excited to have you all with us. So thank you so much for joining us today. And we're so excited and nervous and just thrilled to get this going finally. This has been such a labor of love for us, and it will continue to be, but it's a great passion for us. And over the next 3 weeks, as I mentioned earlier, you'll get to know each of us better and how we got here, both personally and professionally. And you'll be able to connect with us on our YouTube channel, our Facebook page for Retire Well, but also feel free to follow each of our businesses. So I'm with Try Organizing, Julie has Paradigm Designs, and Patricia's Coloca Motion. Did I get all of those right?
Yes!
In my brain? Okay, awesome. And also, like, let us know if there's a topic you want to hear about. You know, we're discussing the topics that have affected us personally, have affected our clients, and what our research showed us. But if there is something that you guys feel like we've missed or that you are really curious about, reach out. We want to make sure that topic is covered. And we are not experts on everything. This is why we bring in the experts in each of their individual fields. And we have some amazing professionals we're excited to connect all of you with. So I believe that's it. Ladies, have I missed anything?
No, I think you said it very clearly, and we want everybody to be part of this process because it's a work in progress.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Until next time, we look forward to it. Thank you, guys.
Thanks. Bye.